there, listeners. Welcome to Shit That Goes On to Our Heads, the podcast where we normalize conversations around mental health.
That's right. I'm Dirty Skittles, and alongside my amazing co-host, G-Rex, we are here to share stories and tips from our incredible guests.
Each episode, we deep dive into struggles and triumphs of mental health, offering practical advice and heartfelt support.
Because no one should feel alone in their journey. Join us as we break the stigma and build a community of understanding and compassion.
Tune in and let's start talking about the shit that goes on in our heads. 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of Shit That Goes On in Our Heads. I'm here with my awesome co-host, Dirty Skittles. And today we have an amazing guest, Amita. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm really excited and I'm amazed at the success of congratulations on your podcast. You know, the truthful journeys that you started with something, nothing, and now how it has grown. So
thank you.
Kudos to both of you.
Oh, thank you. And I mean, we're lucky we get amazing guests that tell their story. So, I mean, you're going to be part of the family now and you'll have a little piece of this success as well. It looks bright and sunny where you are. You said you're in San Francisco?
Near San Francisco, near Palo Alto. Yeah, it's actually very nice weather. Yeah, I can't complain. Yes.
What brought you to Cali? How did you end up there?
Oh, well, I actually grew up in India and I came here to study. I went to UC Berkeley and I wanted to study architecture, believe it or not. And I did. And then I couldn't make a living couldn't make enough money after that to live comfortably. And it was not as I expected it was supposed to be with the creativity. It was more like an, AutoCAD drafts person. So you know how the thing kind of changes. And now I worked and then I had to go back to school with a little baby in my lap. And then I put myself to school again and I studied engineering. And then I came out again. And again, the thing didn't work out. Don't even get me started. And I was like in the middle of desert, in Hawthorne drilling. Can you believe it? The oil rigs. I'm like, oh my God, this is not what I signed up for. So, and then again, I got myself to study again, but this was not again going back to school, but kind of whatever. And then I got into high tech. And so then from there, I started kind of navigating my journey in high tech from working in the fab, believe it or not, wearing a bunny suit, which again, I hated.
Nice.
There's a lot of detours I had to take,
And now it's led you to what career do you have now?
So before I started NourishDoc, this is going to be a platform. This is in holistic wellness. It's completely different. I never studied anything close to, as I'm explaining.
A lot of detours, but
Yeah, I have no clue. If somebody asked me 20 years back or 15 years back, are you going to do this? I'm like, are you kidding? I have no clue. So now what we're doing is launching a holistic wellness platform for women, specifically mid-aged women, 35 plus, who are going to start their perimenopause journey, going from perimenopause to menopause and post-menopause as well. And that's really what we're focused on. And this whole kind of thing triggered because of my personal perimenopause journey when I was working in the high tech, a very fast-paced high tech kind of an environment.
Yeah. So you're taking your personal experience and that sort of brought your passion into helping others. Was there something in particular that started for you? Like, did you have resources, I guess, when you were having these symptoms of perimenopause?
No, I didn't have resources. And this was about a decade more than back, right? No, actually, at that time, I just wanted to survive, to be honest with you. I was in such a mess. It was really crazy.
What was it like for you?
The thing is, like now everybody's talking about menopause, right? For the last 2-3 years. But a few years back, about a decade back, and Gretchen can attest to what I'm saying, right? When you were going through menopause, perimenopause, did people talk about perimenopause, menopause?
I guess thankfully for me, but not thankfully, I ended up having a hysterectomy before I even went. I think I was just starting at perimenopause, but I had like 3 very large fibroid tumors. The only way they could remove them was a full hysterectomy. So what did end up happening to me is one day I had hormones. The next day we had none. And I did 6 months of plant-based hormone therapy just to kind of take the edge off, because one day I was nice and the next day was a bitch. But for like 6 months, and then I came off of the hormone therapy. But I know I have friends right now that are going, including Dirty Skittles, that have perimenopause, and like nobody fucking talks about it. Okay, like it fucks with your head.
Yeah, exactly, and that's the thing. So nobody talked about it. Even now. People don't understand perimenopause, and the strange things, I've talked to about 3,000 experts, right, or all over the world, maybe more. I've lost count now. And this is what MDs have told me, that they are not taught about perimenopause in medical schools. Can you believe that?
Okay. Yeah.
You are in for a ride.
But that makes sense. So I'm just starting my journey, but I didn't know it. I remember going for my checkup and kind of telling the doctor everything that was going on. And she never said, well, it's perimenopause or whatever. I was at home, like Googling all these things that were going on and reading it on Google. And so I went back for the next year's checkup or whatever. And I'm like, hey, so it does say this online. Is that what I'm going through? She's like, well, yeah. And I'm like, what the why didn't you fucking tell me this a year ago? Jesus Christ. Would have been helpful,
Exactly. And that's the problem. They don't tell you. And the same thing happened with me. I'm just like, I'm not sleeping at night. And in the morning, I'm like so kind of waking up with my swollen eyes and swollen face. And I have to put ice to just look halfway presentable. Right.
I was like literally every night yelling at my husband, thinking that he was turning the heat up at night. Because he's covered in a fucking like quilt and I'm dying, sweating, couldn't sleep. God. Symptom.
Same here. I needed like 3 fans, blasting at me.
I bought a cooling blanket.
Oh my God.
The technology now.
Oh my God. And then the problem is, if you don't sleep well at night, then guess what? You're not focused in the morning. You can't work properly. And the brain fog and the mood swings. And then you're just, oh my God, the whole day, you're just barely scraping by.
Yes.
Right?
And the whole time wondering, what is happening right now? Like, what is wrong with me?
Exactly. And then you go to the doctor and the doctor doesn't tell you going through perimenopause. You should do XYZ. And then you're trying to figure this shit out by yourself.
That's where Google comes in. Like,
literally.
If you're not Googling it, you're ChatGPTing it. You're like, what is going on with me? Like, how do I fix this?
Yeah. Back more than about a decade back, Google didn't even have that much information on this topic. Now it's started. And that was one of the things, I'm like, I don't know where to turn to. So I started using holistic therapies. That was my introduction to Holistic Wellness 101,
Oh, did it work for you right off the bat, or did it take some tweaking?
Takes time, right? Because I was experimenting. Had I known at that time, well, eat whatever, flax seeds or do this or do that, I would have been fine. But I'm experimenting by myself. And I'm not able to find enough information for first of all, I don't even know I'm going through perimenopause. That's the problem.
Right.
Right. If I know what to search for, I'm searching for heart health issues. I'm like, I'm barely 42 at that time. And I'm thinking, oh my God, God knows what kind of strange things are happening with me. So I'm searching wrong, is what I'm saying. I was searching God knows what at that time.
Yeah, I feel very fortunate then that where we are with the world now, that I can look to resources like you and the internet, and reaching out to other women in my life who are like, yeah, that's what that is. I can't imagine not having that resource available.
It is hot flashes, mood swings, feeling like crap every day, and nobody understands what's going on. Like 1 minute you're nice and the next minute you just want to bite everybody's head off. I get it.
That's true. That's very true. I'm actually I used to be a very quiet person, not expressing myself and keeping to myself, always trying to please others. The menopause changed me. I started expressing myself, which is great.
It only took the torturous times of not knowing what was wrong with you.
Exactly.
To find your voice,
I know. Find my voice. I had to go through this perimenopause journey to say what I feel like saying. Was that true for you or no?
Oh yeah. Like I was like, well, and like for me, like I didn't have a lot of resources, right? So like the GYN surgeon that did my hysterectomy, he was a dick. All right. So he wasn't very helpful. And I had a lot of other things going on at the same time. So when I had my hysterectomy, I ended up getting MRSA and all my stitches split.
Holy shit.
So they had to go in and re-stitch me up. And the guy was just a jerk. Right. So then I ended up going to a different GYN to kind of figure out what's going on. And that's when they put me on the plant-based hormones, because I didn't want to take like progesterone. I didn't want to take any of that other stuff because, it messes up other parts of your body.
Yeah.
So like plant-based hormones were the best way for me to just stabilize. And I will tell you that my wife did notice the change. It took a couple of months, but she's like, you were the biggest bitch for like months. Well, because I was hot and I felt like crap and like my hormones were all over the place. But yeah, like I feel for women that are going through that. And I just think this is such a pertinent conversation now because the number of women that are in my life that are going through perimenopause and menopause, they're like, what the fuck do I do? And I'm like, and you can tell it's like messing up their mental health, right?
Yeah.
Because they are so like out of whack.
Yeah. Yeah. It lines up. I mean, in hindsight, realizing how bad it was, it all made sense. Like my hormones were so out of whack. I couldn't focus. And like, to your point, a lot of other things in my personal life were all happening at the same time. And if you don't know what to look out for or don't have somebody who's like, hey, maybe it's this, like even your own freaking doctor, for Christ's sakes, like it's really scary. It's super scary.
It is because, the reason it's scary is because if we women don't take care of ourselves during these years because of the hormone fluctuations, the chances of us getting chronic condition when we get older are so astronomically high because right now, 80% of the women over 55 have at least one chronic condition. And you're talking diabetes, osteoporosis, dementia, heart issues, and, obesity, of course. Obesity is one of them, metabolic syndrome. What do you do?
Right. That's literally
cancer too, right? So many women get breast cancer or any other cancer. So you want to be very careful because all these sometimes estrogen dominance can mess you up. Sometimes hormonal fluctuations can mess you up. Hormonal shifts can mess you up. All those things. And like Gretchen is talking about the anxiety, the depression, mental depression, 50% of the women have anxiety and depression. I was borderline depression and I'm generally a very happy person, but I was like, I don't know what the heck is happening, all kind of dark, you go into a very dark kind of a place where it's very hard for you to come out.
And what happens is like some women that I've talked to, like they'll talk to their regular GP and then they'll talk to their therapist and everybody wants to put them on medicine, but nobody is talking to each other to make sure that whatever medicine the GP wants to put you on may or may not affect what maybe your therapist has you on, right? Mm. And so it like it's very messy.
Yeah, I can't imagine you guys going through that alone and not having the resources that we have now. Like how do you navigate through that?
You make me sound like I'm 500 years old.
No, not at all. I think because still to this day, I don't think enough people are really talking about it or sharing their experiences and symptoms that they had. And so if that's the case now, we haven't made that much leeway, right? Like we haven't moved that conversation that much.
It just started moving, I think, about a couple of years back. We started working on it about 2 years or so. We started with holistic for chronic condition, generic. And then, as I said, my personal experience was so bad. And when I started talking to so many other experts, and majority of them were mid-age kind of women, majority of them. And this topic kept coming up and that kept triggering me again and again, right? And that's when we decided that let's just dig a little bit deeper into it and see. And we started digging deeper into this and realized undersea research, lack of resources for women, so many confusion, all these things. So we decided about 2 years back at that time when I told people I'm going to focus our company on menopause, and people were just looking at me like, are you gone crazy or what? Nobody wants to talk about this. This is under the rug. You don't go around in the world talking openly about sexual health, pelvic health, mental health, all those things. But things have improved, I should say, in the last couple of years because of a lot of media. Oprah's talking about it. So yes, it's cool.
That's
you
true.
Know what I mean?
That's true. I did see a little clip of that. Why do you think it took this long?
I think it's multiple things, right? There is a whole stigma attached to this topic for the last so many decades. Then there is generational silence. If your previous generation, like your mom and your aunts and everybody, nobody talks about this, so you just kind of again inheriting the silence and keeping the silence going in the inheritance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then the medical gap, we talked about that. That's a huge one. And for women, sometimes they feel that they're losing their feminine side of physical attributes, so to speak. I mean, that is also women feel that, oh my God, now maybe my life is kind of okay on the downhill. It's all in our head, right? But that's not true.
Yeah.
So I think it's a combination of a lot of things. And even at workplace, a lot of women, especially mid-aged women, like I personally, I had to hide it. I had to be silent. I didn't feel very comfortable talking about it to anyone at work because I felt they might judge me, right? Or age discrimination. I mean, a lot of women or even men think age discrimination when you were in your mid 40s around that. And can you imagine retiring at mid 40s? I mean, it's just not done. So I think it's a very complex kind of a thing. And of course, cultural stigma too, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see where it is like a cultural stigma. Like, I can't talk today. I just think that like we have more resources at our fingertips now, right? Than like even when I was going through all the hell that I went through. But I also see like the other side of it, like where your partners or your spouses are also feeling those effects, right? Like in my case, my wife is 11 years older than I am. So I remember watching her go through perimenopause and menopause. Girl, no. I mean, I still have some effects because of my hormone imbalance, right? I cannot tolerate heat right now. Like heat and I are not best friends. And I can find sometimes like when my emotions dip a little bit or my hormones are dipping, I get super emotional. But for like the two of you, like, girl, I'm just going to say, buckle the fuck up. Maybe travel with an ice pack.
Yeah, it's been a wild ride already. I mean, I've at least here's the one thing I will say. I'm the oldest one in my group of friends, not by much, but nonetheless, I feel like I have conquered the big life things before they have gotten there. So now that this is like where I'm starting, I'm like being super vocal about it. I'm like, dude, this fucking sucks. And like, I'm just honest and like sharing it with them. I sometimes wonder if I share too much, but I'm like, is nobody else, going through this? And the only resources I have, like in terms of people I know, or it's like my mom, my aunt, so I go to them a lot for it. And so far, me and my mom seem to have the same symptoms. And so she's like, this is what I did. And, she's been very helpful with that.
No, I think you're doing the great thing. I think more women talk about it. It needs to happen at the grassroots level, right? Not because at the medical part, they still are. I don't know if they've changed the curriculum to incorporate all these things we're talking about, but more medical doctors and medical fraternity is now at least embracing the fact that they need to support perimenopause, menopause, because I think it's become very fashionable suddenly. When Wall Street Journal prints an article, oh my God, menopausal women are worth X $100 billion or $600 billion market. You know how they capitalize on these kind of commercials.
Yeah.
Now you are worth this. Oh,
Oh
no,
my
suddenly everybody's,
gosh.
I am going to go get a pie from this little thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I personally think a lot of it is with these all big numbers and the data from the McKinseys of the world and the Deloittes of the world. But that's why gold rush has happening for menopause. Gretchen, I
Right.
would love your.
It is. It's like, everybody needs to talk to each other, right? Your GP needs to talk to your therapist. I think the way that it would work best is like if you all got on a conference call, everybody talks about what's going on so that everybody has the same picture. I do remember like one of the things that, my doctor did tell me is that for the rest of my life, I have to double down on my vitamin D because once you have a full hysterectomy, your bone density, it decreases. So something you guys might want to think about like now as you go through that change is like increase your vitamin D intake because now it helps with a couple of things. If you go through seasonal depression, in upping that intake of vitamin D helps with seasonal depression also. And your bones are protected because let me tell you, when you fall at 62, shit don't heal real fast. Okay. And you always pray that you're not going to break something when you fall.
Yeah, I know. It's not funny anymore to trip and fall down. You're like, uh-oh, did I break my ankles this time or are we all right? Yeah, it's brutal. But you said something like our partner's going through it too. Like, I mean, my husband is like, what is going on? And now that like he knows, because, I've shared with him like my last appointment and, I was also struggling with the weight loss. Like, I'm working out, I'm eating well, and nothing was budging. And then getting on like weight loss, like therapy basically, and medications and stuff, like all of a sudden, I'm like, oh, I feel great now. Right. And getting medicine from my doctor. So I'm like, okay, this is wonderful. Now I can explain to my husband exactly what's going on. And he's a little bit more compassionate and he's part of me gets so frustrated. And maybe this is the hormones. I don't know. But I'm like, man, guys have it so easy. You have it so easy. You have no idea what we're struggling with right now. But he's trying to be a little bit more patient and compassionate with it all.
Yeah, I mean, guys have their share of what they call it mid-age as well, but nothing compared to what we women go through, starting from our puberty. And even if when the post-menopause, like Gretchen, you're talking about, we still have to now women have to worry about after post-menopause that they don't get into any of these chronic conditions because still now the hormones are depleted. That's a problem. You still need that. Those hormones are good for you, good for your brain, like brain for the memory part, right? It's good for your memory. It's good for, if you look at the whole body, it's good for the whole body. We didn't even talk about the loss of libido is another one of the side effects, symptoms.
I have a funny story about that.
No.
Okay.
Tell it.
So, after I had my hysterectomy, I kind of lost interest. And then, I don't know, as I've gone through the years, I don't know, interest has peaked again, but I still have like, problems with dryness and things like that. And, trying to figure out what we can take to, resolve some of that because now I live in a much drier environment than I did when I lived in Florida. So I was always sweating all the time. So now up here, like I'm trying to like figure out things I can do to help my body, right? Because there's nothing worse than having that dry, gross feeling. I mean, there's got to be a balance between like Sahara dry and like Florida swamp, right?
Right. The swamp reference. I was thinking like Niagara Falls. She said swamp. Good Lord. My goodness.
You should know me by now. Okay. Listen, I don't sugarcoat.
Yeah. No, but I mean, these are helpful conversations,
Yeah, absolutely. But you know what? Getting the blood flow in that part of the body it would help. And
Right.
the funny thing is, expanding on your funny stories, this is, I was talking to an MD and, I interviewed all kind of people like sexologists, sexual therapists, and all kind of people you can think about. And she told me, MD, believe it or not, there is something called orgasmic meditation. And I
Oh,
had no clue that even existed. And I was laughing. I'm like, are you serious? She says, yes. And it has evidence to help the libido, orgasmic meditation.
oh, we're all Googling it. Organic meditation. How
When you
does one start? No, just kidding. Where can it happen?
but even that part like still plays into your mental health, right? Because if we're all, no, not all of us, most of us are, we're sexual beings, right? And like we love the intimacy and everything, but like when you're dry as fuck, like
Yeah.
it's hard to get in the mood.
Right, right.
Literally.
Yeah. I think for me right now in the beginning stages, I would, if I got to that point, which it sounds like it's going to happen, right? Loss of libido. I think I would struggle with that a lot because I do weigh so much of like the feminine energy that I bring into my relationship to that like sexual aspect. So if that goes, yeah, I probably will be struggling. Like how did either of you struggle with that realization that,
Yes.
you lost libido? Any fun, helpful tips?
So, you know what? I'll tell you, yoga, some of these mindfulness practices really help, right? Breathing from your belly, that helps because, acupuncture helps. I actually would go very regularly to acupuncture sessions and getting my acupuncture just to get the flow of energy going in all over the body. It wasn't just that part of the body, but these kind of things help. But also, I think there's more vaginal creams nowadays, right? To let the dryness kind of become a more moist, so to speak. So
I was telling her about one. I was telling her about a vitamin. I just started, dude, I'm telling you, check it out. It's great.
Well, the only reason I got weirded out is because you told me it tasted good.
It does. No, I meant the vitamin. It is a pineapple flavored vitamin. You got to try it. It's been great. For those listening, as much as I hate to promote this, it is the Kardashian Let Me Purr. Fucking works, man.
Really?
Yeah.
Ah.
It's working. Just saying.
What is it called? Kardashians have the vitamins?
Yeah, I don't remember. I don't know which one, but it's called Let Me Purr. And it is for that area, vaginal health and
vaginal
lubricating the situation. Yeah.
There is another one. They say that they have a red light therapy, so to speak, to stroke the area. Yeah. And you know how they have red light therapy for your face and you put the red, when you go for facials, the same thing they were talking about. It has the clinical evidence that red light therapy to stroke that part of the body.
Right.
There's a company that actually has a sort of like a little wand with the red light therapy to stroke that. I'm blanking out on the name of the company, but yeah, I think it's Joy or something. Yeah.
Interesting.
There are options, is what I'm saying. I mean, one could do, but I think stress is one of the things all need to figure out how to get the stress levels down, because if you already have anxiety and depression and your gut health is bad, everything kind of circles into all over the thing, right? It's not just one thing.
Yeah. And that's when it got scary for me, I think, is when everything at the same time is happening on top of, like, if you already had anxiety, if you were already dealing with depression, now like the hormones are just, it's wild. It's scary.
Yeah.
And your hormones are directly related to your mental health. Like you wouldn't think that they are, but they are, because it's something physically happening within your body. And that's like, that's because of your company. You're going to actually be able to help women figure this shit out. Because like I've said, nobody talks to anybody else. Like doctors don't talk to each other. And then, there's all this misinformation. So like Dirty Skittles, you went out and Googled all that shit, right?
I did.
It's kind of like Googling mental health. You know, how many things came back and how much of that was relevant to what you were feeling?
Right. I had to go digging and fishing and weeding out all of the craziness, but I got there. I will say something that I think really pointed me in that direction of like really digging in, researching is that for the first time, I would say in my entire life, I couldn't get it together. Meaning like I normally, anxiety, depression, whatever I'm dealing with in life, I have a way of talking myself through that or finding the light on the other side. But when literal hormone imbalance was happening, I couldn't get it together. And I remember thinking like, something is wrong. Like something is not my normal, right? Like something is way, way off. And then it was as soon as I realized what was happening and got the buy-in from my doctor after I Googled all of my symptoms, which they tell you never to do, but I did it. I think once there was a name to it, I was like, oh, finally I can breathe a little bit and understand like, okay, now that I know what it is, how can I take steps to help with all of this? And that was very liberating.
Yeah, but see, then Google is good, but the only problem is you have to dig and dig,
Yes.
and right, that's the problem, and you don't know which site is
Right.
trying to sell you and writing all
Right.
these long articles, right? Because that's how the Google algorithm works. Is the longer you write, 2,000, 3,000 word articles, the higher it's going to put you. And even if someone else is more competent than the guy who is able to write 2,000, 3,000,
Right.
right? So it's actually very, I mean, it can be like you end up going to the wrong guy because just because he's able to figure out how to do SEO better. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I found that the problem was, and I just did not know. So I started actually my treasure hunt went into the PubMed, research. I was looking into the different research that has been done for different things. What can I do? I mean, that also was a huge lot of digging. Oh my God, because it's like a whole, like a 10,000 acres of landmine, and you're trying to find a little,
Yeah. Something that
right?
fits.
And I think that, like, going back to what both of you guys have been going through, right? Or have gone through and, like, moving on to the next phase, which is menopause, which is equally as shitty. Because I'm telling you, we get the worst raps when it comes to, like,
Health.
physical health, right?
Right.
But, like, I mean, I want to find out like more about your company too, and like what you can do to help the women out there. Because like for me, I personally have, 10 to 15 friends, women friends that are going through this, and their husbands are like, figure this shit out.
Absolutely. So, yeah, I will share with you what we are trying to do is we put together a self-care. So we put together an entire platform, the entire journey of a woman. That's not that on a very high level. Then we went back into saying, okay, every woman cannot go and spend $1,000 going through testing, going through different doctors, or sometimes dietitian and this and that. How do we normalize this whole thing so that it's like every woman can at least afford basics of what the heck is going through, right? What is that is going on? So the first step is self-care. In the self-care, we are giving a lot, like about 25 different programs based on the symptoms. But in this, you can understand why it's happening, what is happening, why it's happening, and how can I fix it using some dietary, using some lifestyle, using some exercises, using some other holistic therapies. So this is a complete self-serve kind of a platform, and it has a lot of content and a lot of different things. And then we go to the group guidance, so to speak, guided with the experts, where women can we vet and curate the experts, whether it's an MD or hormone or sexologist or what have you. And they come in and women can ask questions. It could be monthly, like month one would be this topic, month two this. It could be a sort of like year kind of a thing, or whatever you want to do it. But we are going to offer every month some kind of go deep into a topic and have discussions around it. And then the third part is, okay, now I want to get my testing done, because without testing, I have no idea what's happening in my body. So we've partnered with some testing companies. And then based on the test, you can consult with either an integrative or a naturopathic doctor, or someone who understands, and get your supplements, what you need, not necessarily gulping all the supplements, what you can find in Costco,
Right.
which most of us do. And then also putting together your entire plan of whether it's a diet, whether it's a movement, or whether it's other mental health or sexual health or whatever. So that's how we've done it. So it starts with less than a cup of coffee per month. That from a cost point of view, we wanted to keep it so inexpensive that everyone can afford it. Then it progresses to a little bit higher, the guided one, still it's group, it's not one-on-one. And then it goes to the one-on-one. So that's how we've done it in a stages. And also to try to help all the women wherever they are at whatever stage. So we meet them at where they are. And we're trying to bring the cultural sensitivity as well, because women of different minority groups, they experience this journey different than some of the other ethnic groups. So that is a big nuance as well.
Wow. What is your site called?
It's called NourishDoc. So the best is to go to www.nourishdoc.com.
Nice.
Yeah, I've been out there. I looked at all the resources. I was like, where the fuck was this when I was going through all my stuff? Because, there were some good hysterectomy sites, but like I could have benefited from a lot of the information that you guys provide. And it makes me mad. It makes me mad that like doctors don't want to be completely truthful with you with like what your symptoms are, because they pass it off for everything else. And like perimenopause and menopause are not bad words. Okay. Every woman's going to go through it, or sort of go through it, depending on where you are in your life. But like it's an important conversation to have. Yeah. And, now I can actually point people to a place that they can go and get more information without having to Google it and, end up at the My Pillow Guy version of menopause or perimenopause help. So,
yeah, part of me is curious if my doctor didn't tell me during that first like meeting with her because she thought I would be scared or something. Cause I'm like, it was a female doctor. I still, and I love my doctor. Like, don't get me wrong. Like that entire office is wonderful. I make the drive out just to see her, but I'm like, dang, why didn't she tell me right off the bat? Like, hey, it could be this, like maybe try looking into whatever. Cause it would have made my journey quicker, right? Like I wouldn't have had to spend like those sleepless nights wondering like, dude, what the heck is going on? Like, what is happening here? So I do wonder, like, why didn't she say it right off the bat? Maybe, maybe there was like a cultural sensitivity thing. Like maybe she's like, I don't know if I should say this, or I don't know. It just would have been nice. So I need to check out your site.
I think the other thing that, we need to look at is that, there's so much litigation. We live in a very litigious society. Mm-hmm. And I guess maybe doctors don't want to get sued for giving misinformation, but you know what? You can take a simple blood test to find out if you are in perimenopause or menopause. What scares me though is like what you were saying, Amita, like there are people out there that like don't have health insurance and don't have like the ability to get the help that they need. And I think that's where your site kind of comes in, right? Like you could be that go-between, because the same thing happens in the mental health world, right? People just can't afford care. And the more information we can get out there for even people that can't really afford to go to a doctor, but, maybe they end up going to the store and some of the stuff they can pick up at their local grocery store and is covered by SNAP. So,
yeah, true.
Absolutely. And even if you have insurance, let's say, so many questions are so unanswered, like we're talking about, like, Charlene's talking about. Mm-hmm. Then you need some place where at least it's kind of normalized. You're not dependent on one person, like one doctor, because that's the problem. What I personally felt was that, hey, one doctor tells you something and then you base your entire thing. So what, at least in this website, what the platform, what we're trying to do is there is an opinion of so many experts that you get, and you don't feel alone. And also when you have vetted experts who already know their work are coming, and then you have the ability to ask questions in a group, and you can also interact with other peers. I think all of us, I could not even talk to anyone. I felt so alone, right? Because of all the things that I was talking about. I mean, I think there's so much work that still needs to get done in this space.
Yeah. Well, thank you for jumping in and filling that need. You saw the void and you're helping. I can't even tell you how many more women out there.
Yeah, this has been like the perfect conversation because I'm fielding so many questions. And for me, like, it's hard for me to answer because, like, I didn't go through perimenopause. I went right into menopause. I went, like,
literally
on December 7th.
First class flight right there.
It just went, like, one day I had, like, hormones. The next day, like, I didn't. So, but I can see, like, where it would be, like, such a painful thing to go through because, you want to be in tune with your body, but when your body is like saying fuck you to you like 212 times a day, and like you're not getting the answers that you want because maybe you're not sure how to ask the question, or your doctor is very dismissive. Like, that's the kind of stuff that pisses me off. Is like when the doctors are very dismissive. Oh, you're too young for perimenopause. Listen, fucker, take a test, okay?
No, the problem is not that I want to badmouth them. The problem is they don't have time for you. That's the problem. The system, they barely have 5 minutes and they're rushing from one room to another, and then they make you wait for 2 hours and they have only 5 minutes. I'm like, you watch that Seinfeld, okay, the doctor will see you now. He says, I will see the doctor now,
Yeah. My last doctor's appointment, I was texting my mom during it and I'm like, I think they forgot I'm in here. Like, should I hey guys, I'm still here. Like, I didn't know what to do. I literally was like, I think they forgot. I was there for an hour and a half.
Oh my God.
10 minutes.
See, I wasn't making it up.
No.
It's crazy. And then they are kind of running with their head cut off like a zombie. And then like, oh, okay, this file, that file, this. I'm like so scared they're going to cross the files.
Yeah.
Oh, look, they're locking the building. They forgot about me and I'm still sitting here.
Yeah, it was like she came in after an hour and a half. It took 10 minutes and she had not students, but people that she was training. So it would have been shorter. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, okay. Like, hey, do you mind if yeah, sure. It was done. And then I'm like, dude, I literally waited an hour and a half for the shit. I was like frustrated.
It's crazy. It's crazy. The customer service in that arena is so bad. And the problem is, it's funny, like I was reading on Quora, right? And someone had written such a huge, like a 5-minute read on how the experience, like you were talking about 1.5 hours. He says, I did not think that I need to pay that doctor at all. The doctor did not deserve my money.
Can you imagine? Do you remember when Domino's was like, if we don't deliver within 30 minutes, it's a free pizza? They should do that.
Yeah, exactly.
We're not.
That's what
I should get something.
This whole thing in the world of same-day delivery.
Yes. Yeah. We should be compensated some way.
I know.
Casserole dish, something. I love that. Okay, I've got some questions for you.
Oh.
I've been asking them of every guest, so we're going to roll with it. If you could go back in time to a younger version of yourself and give that younger version advice, what would you say? And how old are you?
So, yeah, I would say that I wish I had listened to myself more. I wish I had listened to my voice. It took me decades to bring my voice out. I didn't have to go through perimenopause. My voice,
Yeah.
So I think that's what I would tell my younger self, that, I should have been more confident. I should have believed in myself more. I should not have to have, trying to please other people and always thinking that what if that other person says something bad not so pleasant about me. And then I have doubts about myself. And that's what I would tell my younger self. That's the biggest regret I personally have for me.
Would you say that's the hardest lesson you've had to learn so far?
Absolutely, because I cannot bring that time back, right? That's the thing. And the time is gone and you're trying to please so many people and the people are never going to be pleased. No matter what you do. So if the sooner you embrace yourself, the sooner you live within who you are, the better it is for yourself. Because otherwise you are just kind of living a masked life, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I think I did, trying to please people, trying to not be myself, and trying to always say, yes, I agree, rather than going deeper into it, whether who I am, what I'm trying to do, or what should I say, all those things.
Gotcha. How do you practice that now every day? Like, what do you do to make sure that you are using your voice?
So I need to set some boundaries. I actually every single day I do write a journal. Whatever has happened to me all day, I kind of want to verbalize it on a piece of paper. And then I think about it, if I have been truthful to myself or not, right? That's the base thing. I want to be truthful to me. And if let's say if there is some, confrontation and all anything like that, the way I handle that is I'm not a confrontational person, so I don't confront, but I kind of go the side route, the detour, like I go around it, and I don't need to like confront, but how the river is flowing and the rock comes and the river kind of goes around the rock, right? So you can't keep beating the rock, right? Sometimes that's exactly what I feel, that you don't need to go beat a rock because that's never going to change. You, as a human being, you go around it and be polite about it and move on with your life. And that's what I practice every single day with myself. And I think that keeps me sane. And also the theory of karma, doing the right thing, doing the right thing is important for me, very important for me.
Thank you.
I love that. So I have a couple of questions for you. Mm-hmm. If your anxiety had a theme song, what is it and why?
Oh, my theme song would be Beat It by Michael Jackson.
I love it.
I think that's the most appropriate song, I think, for this perimenopause. Beat it. Yes, beat it. Right?
Just beat it. So what is your favorite word?
Favorite what? Work or?
Favorite word.
Favorite word?
Yep.
Resilience, I think. That's my favorite word.
I love that. And what's your least favorite word?
Anger. That's my least favorite word. Anger.
This was such a great conversation. Thank you. Oh my God. This was so good. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. I appreciate you sharing your experience with me, and I'm going to go check out your site.
Great. And the app actually is coming out in the month of July.
Ooh.
Yeah. So I will definitely keep you posted when the app comes out, and, love your feedback on that, and then reach out to you guys at that time again.
Yay.
I would love that. And thank you so much. It's such an honor to have you on here.
Thank you so much, Gretchen. And thank you. Have a great evening.
Hi, all. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. I'm G-Rex.
And I'm Dirty Skittles.
Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review this podcast. We'd love to listen to your feedback.
We can't do this without you guys. It's okay to be not okay. Just make sure you're talking to someone.